Hi, Danny.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. كيف الحال؟
الحمد لله تمام. وانتوا
تمام.
بقى؟
الحمد لله.
Hello, everyone.
اوكي.
عليكم السلام حج دانيال.
يا حجي.
هلا بالحجي.
Hello, everyone.
We
Hi,
miss
Mr.
you.
Daniel.
Oh, miss you guys too.
I hope to see you again here in Muela.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
This is your team, I think.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, it's nice. Actually, it's nice the days we spend a lot of the days.
Excellent. So we got how many people online? 49?
50. Yeah, we just will wait for 5 minutes maybe.
Mash.
Yeah, we expect more people.
Okay, so let me go and look for how I can share my screen here.
Yeah, okay. I will stop my screen, and you can share your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent.
Okay, I will make you co-host. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let me go here. I need to share my screen. Share. You can see my screen now?
Yes, Danny.
Mash.
Yeah, it's okay.
We have the technology, man, and it's working. So this is great.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh my God, we have many 70, 71.
Yeah. This is excellent. By the way, we also have people will watch us on the live view on Facebook, on our page on Facebook.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, so that I think the number of participants will be double.
Excellent. Very good. That's what we need.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, Mr.
Hi,
Daniel. How
Haidori.
are you?
Oh yeah, hi there.
Hello, Mr. Daniel. How are you doing?
Assalamu
Nice to meet you again.
alaikum.
Very well, miss you.
Yeah. Oh, we miss you too.
Walaikum assalam.
We miss you a
Thank you,
lot.
sir.
I miss you guys, man. This is unbelievable.
استاذ
Life so
حيدر
close.
شلونك
Hello,
حبيبي؟
Mr. Ghassan. شلونك أستاذ
شلونك
غسان؟
حبيبي؟
مساء الخير.
اخبارك امورك؟ تسلم
أخبارك؟
ولد.
غسان
يسلمك.
موجود.
Yes,
موجود.
Danny.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah, this is wonderful.
You are my boss, man.
Yeah.
Big
This is
boss.
great.
Yeah. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see all you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I think
I'm
we
really
can.
surprised this morning when I saw this invitation, actually. Yeah.
Aha. You were surprised.
Yes. When I
Good.
saw your photo and your the Daniel, he will give us some presentation or some training. Yeah. Ah, come on.
Yeah. Great. It was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Daniel. So do you think we have to start or waiting for a couple of minutes? It's up
No,
to you.
it's you guys are the drivers. You tell me what you like.
Okay. Let's wait for just one or couple of minutes.
ما في مشكلة يعني.
Yeah, great. Okay, I think we are now ready. So I will mute all the participants and I will unmute them in the Q&A session. So
Okay.
as we don't have any disruption for the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can start.
Yeah, I just meant I will say some words. So
Okay.
on behalf of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Baghdad section, I would like to welcome you all here today, and especially our speaker, Mr. Daniel. Thank you very much for your time, and I know you are very busy, but thank you very much for being here today, and we are looking forward to learn a lot from your experience and expertise, and we're sure that we will I will just present a hint about the bio of Mr. Daniel, and I think he will continue with that. Mr. Daniel is a certified professional coach. He has about 31 years of experience in oil sector, 60 years in British Petroleum, 16 years in British Petroleum, and 15 years in Shirmboh. He works currently for British Petroleum as a country manager in Tome and Principe country in Africa. And he worked before in many countries, including Iraq in Rumaila oil fields. And we look forward to learn from this great opportunity and this great presentation. Of course, it will be a great opportunity. presentation. So thank you very much, Daniel, again. And
Mhm.
the mic is yours. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. I will start by talking a bit about myself. Those who know me, I'm Daniel, and those who don't know me, I'm still Daniel. So I really thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you about this topic that is very close to my heart. And I hope that inshallah, I'll have the strength to tell you the truth that is coming from the heart. And the people that know me in Iraq know that I used to say, min kalb ila kalb yani. So that's what I'm going to try to do, to share with you the experience that is still growing about leadership. Leadership is not a destination that we reach there. We say, okay, we are leader now. Halas, so we already know everything. No, leadership is a journey. It's a journey we learn and we move forward. Okay. And I've decided to call this purposeful. I don't know how else I could call it. Purposeful leadership means that it's not about you leading other people. It's first about you. You make the effort, you the leader. You don't expect the people to come to you. You have to go to the people. So that's purpose. So I sleep in the night, I worry about stuff, and I make decisions, I push and try to influence things to work in the right way. So that's how purposeful comes about. It's my personal purpose. If you imagine that I have an internal compass. So on that note, I'm going to start. Our content, we're going to talk a bit about oilfield career background. Is going to be a bit of, I'm a storyteller, naturally. I tell a lot of stories and jokes and stuff like this that helps people to understand and get things together like that. And then we're going to talk about what is the myth, the myth versus the reality of being a manager or a leader. And then what is the difference between the two, just a little bit. And then I'm going to share with you a quotation that has to do with leadership, and then explain why people follow a leader. And then something that we're going to talk about is the 4 big L's of purposeful leadership. What are the big L's that are in there? And then I'm going to share with you some purposeful reflections, and then your own leadership journey. Because in every human being, there is a leader. We don't just happen to know, what we are good at, how we can develop ourselves. But every person has a purpose in them. That's my belief. And then leadership keys that I'm going to leave with you, something that you can put on your wall, something that you can think about, how you do it. If there's any one thing that you want to take out of this presentation, I would like you to promise me that you're going to put it on your wall, that I'm going to do this, this is what I'm going to do. And after that, we're going to go to such question and answers. I promise I'm going to answer all your questions. And if I cannot answer, I'm going to look for the answer and I'm going to get back to you. You can take that and write it down and put it in the bank. I'm going to do that. Okay. Oilfield career background. What I was trying to share here is, if you are in the oil business as an engineer, a technician, a supervisor, a superintendent, what you always hear, people will say, oh, when I was a trainee, it was not like that. You hear, oh, in our days as a trainee, it was harder, you need to work harder, and you didn't have good food and all this kind of stuff. Oh, in our days, field engineer, we didn't even have a laptop. That's true, that's great. But we need to move from that. And that's why I said the leadership of the future needs to look at things differently. Actually, now it's even harder to be a leader because of the situation in the world, the pandemic. You're not leading people that you are seeing them every day. You are working from a distance. All of this we have to change our perception, So basically, when you join a company as a young engineer, the journey goes like this. Whether you're in the service sector or you are in the operator, it doesn't make a difference. Whether you're in Schlumberger or you are in Waterford or you are in BP or Total, it doesn't make a difference. You go from a trainee, specialist, supervisor, you get to manager, and then what? You've just finished a degree, mechanical grade, petroleum engineering grade, 4 years after university. And then now after between 3 to 4, 5 years, you have now grounded the knowledge about engineering in your own field. Let's say you started mechanical and you end up being a petroleum engineer in the field. Then now you finish all that stuff. And then what is the next thing? It's always a challenge for us engineers because we're not trained in school to be leaders. We're not trained to do accounting. We're not trained to be economists. Now to move forward with your career, you need to become now a leader. Oh, they say, okay, you're going to be a manager for this section. Okay, head of department, head of section and the rest. But where do you learn how to manage people? Nowhere. If you are lucky, maybe you had one training or two training for 3-4 days, and after that it's finished. Halas. So how do you transit to do that as an engineer? That's what I want to talk about. So myth and reality. I've put on this right hand, the circle you see there. That circle is very, very important. It's from a gentleman called Simon Sinek, and I follow Simon Sinek on his how you call it, LinkedIn, because he's a very, very intelligent man that has to do with people. So there's always a myth and reality, and that's what we're going to talk about. So if you look at the circle, that circle says the outer circle is what we do. The second circle is how we do it. And the third is why we do it. And it's very important to be able to answer those questions. If you are an engineer and I say, what is that? You say, oh, it's a pipe. Oh, I say, how does it work? You say, well, it's a pipe, water flows inside or oil flows inside. Why? There's always a problem when you get to the why question. And even in not answer the why question, then you cannot grow as an engineer. And you cannot change things. Because if you tell me, what are we doing? Okay, we're running tubing into the ground. Okay, good. How are we going to run it? Oh, we're going to pick it up with the crane and we're going to take it to the rig floor and we're going to run it in the ground. Good. Why are we doing it that way? I don't know, because we always do it like that. Have you ever heard that thing? That's what people always say. Oh, why are we running 13 Chrome? Oh, because we're always doing like that for 30 years. So that is where the engineering comes in. You have to be able to answer the why. And the same thing happens to leadership. When you have the what, managers always have the what. Usually very clear on what they want to do. When it comes to how they're going to do it, it's not always clear. And when you get to the why, that's where the leader comes in. It's the same thing. You know, right now, what I'm doing with you guys, I'm telling you something about leadership. That is the what. How I do it is what you're experiencing right now. I'm sharing what I feel, but why I do it, it applies to me. Why do I do this? Because I think that you people are the future. That's the why, and that is important to me. So I've answered my 3 phases, right? What I'm doing, how I'm doing it, I'm engaging with people, and why am I doing it? So this is where, if you cannot really articulate the why, that's where there's a problem. And I've put there, if you see, I've put the green MGR, that's manager. And the people that ask the how and why question are the leaders. So never be ashamed to ask the why question. What you need to do, because if you understand why, then you can change. If we say that, okay, we are picking the tubing from left to right, oh, because on the rig floor, there was this level of the rig floor clearance between the ground and the rig floor. That's why there was not enough ground. Now that we have enough ground in this rig, then you can change it. But if you don't know why we're doing it, then you cannot change it. And that's why I always advise my engineers, they should have a rationale question or kind of a booklet that has the rationale of what they're doing. Why are they doing it? In every step in their program, you should know what you're doing, but why are you doing it? It's important because tomorrow, if the conditions change, you have a rig with the higher clearance or all that kind of good stuff, then you can change it. So the same thing applies in leadership. And as I said, leaders need to change their mindset. Managers need to change their mindset to be leaders. There are things that we can manage. There are things that we have to lead. And especially now with the uncertainty in the world, you know, it's hugely important. So I've put here a little table. It's my favorite table. Now, when you get to that first job where they say, okay, now you are, how you call it, sales manager. You finish all the engineers, okay, you go and do sales. Or you are a safety manager. What happens? Okay, look at this. This is the challenge. Your challenge would be that on challenge, the myth would be that, oh, my job now is to keep the operation working in order. That's my job, yeah, to move it smoothly. And I can tell you that if you think backwards, or if you have been in the role where you have been put to challenge, what you're thinking is that, okay, now that I've been put to a position of a leader or manager, my job is to make sure the operation runs smoothly. Yes. But you know what is the reality? The reality is that you, as a leader, you have to make changes so that the team can perform, because you cannot perform alone. It's not possible. You need people. So the reality is I am responsible for initiating change to enhance the group's performance. Now, if you think about your focus, you'll be thinking that now that you're a manager, your focus should be managing one-to-one, i.e. having relationship, talking to Mahmoud, talking to Hussein differently, talking to Ali differently. No. Your focus should be that you are leading the team. So I need, as a leader, you need to create the culture. The culture is coming from you that will allow the group to fulfill its potential. That is the joy of the leader. That is the real thing that should be happening, i.e. because the team is growing, people are fulfilling their potential, then I know I can go to sleep. And I will not have any call at night, somebody calling me to say, oh, there's a problem, because the people are developing their potential. Okay, in terms of outcome, what does the new leader, okay, this table here is for the new leader or the new manager. What is happening in the new manager's head in terms of outcome, what they expect to have as the results is we're saying, I must get compliance from the team members. Everybody has to respect me. I have to get compliance. What do I mean by compliance? Okay, they say we have to give 2 safety cards a day. So I need to get them to do that. But that is a myth. It's not true. You cannot force them to do it. But you can get their commitment to do it, which that's the reality. So compliance is very different from commitment. Compliance means that people are doing it because you are pushing them to do it. But when you get their commitment, i.e. that you're working as a team, we're going to talk about that. How do you get commitment from people? Then they will do it without you asking them for anything. Okay. Right. So leader versus manager. I've put some 2 hats there. You have a blue hat and you have a green hat. So the green hat is the leader and the blue hat is the manager. So what is the difference? Is that on a day-to-day basis, a manager will focus on resources, focus on systems, focus on procedures and policies, and that's okay, and practices. But remember I said before, the leader is focusing on how and why. So don't be shy when you're in a leadership position to ask why. I know sometimes people are worried about why because they're worried that you're going to blame them now, you know. But there's a way to ask for why, you know. We're going to talk about that later. So what is the big difference? I've put on the left that the leader chart the course, whereas the manager steer the ship. So if you imagine that you are traveling from today to the future, if you are having a manager focus, what you're going to be doing, because you are focusing on systems, procedure, and the rest, what you're doing, you're like the driver, you know, of the bus. You're just doing that. But what the leader does, the leader looks far ahead and he actually designs the road. That's how we're going to get there. Remember, he's doing the how and the why. Yeah. So what does the leader focus on? The leader focuses on the vision, the strategy, and then inspire the people to get involved. He inspires people to follow him. Yes, he doesn't only have the map in his head and draw the road to do that, but he also inspire people. If you have the best ideas on how to get to somewhere, and you cannot inspire people to travel with you in your team, then it's of no use. So that's the end plan. So the leader is meant to achieve things using people. You cannot do it by yourself. And what does he focus on? He focuses on the values and the behaviors and the culture. We're going to talk about that later. He sets direction, he sets expectations, and he sets the goal. Under people, that is the leader's focus. If you look at the manager's focus is not the people. Yeah, people doesn't come under manager. Leadership is where you are committed to delivering people. Okay, so that is commitment that you're looking for. From the people to vision, commit to the strategy. We have the vision, we have the goal, we have the strategy to get there. Then you inspire the people to go and do it. Yeah. So a leadership quote I'm going to share with you. This is Nelson Mandela. I hope everybody knows about him. He says, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. I've always carried this with me everywhere that I've gone, and people that know me know that I've always walked from the heart. Because when you talk to somebody in his own language, it's not only about language like English, French, Portugali, and all of this. It's about a language that speaks to his heart, something that he trusts you with, the heart. Yeah. Good. So now let's look at why do people follow people? Summarize. People follow people first because they have to. Means that it is in their roles and responsibility. It has been written on the paper. That's the primary level of following somebody. And then other will follow somebody because they need to. I.e., they want to survive. They want to survive in the life. They want to grow. You know, they don't trust the person. They're just following. Okay, because of survival. And then they will follow somebody because of what you have done for them. So you can see that that is the middle, right? Number 3 is the middle. Let's talk about the self. Therefore, the first one was about the role and responsibility. It's paper, defining it, forcing them to do it. Then the second one, the person had to realize, oh, they have to do it. And then third is now self-interest, you know, because of what you have done for them, you know, they want to follow. It may be a personal thing that you have really done for them, you know. And then number 4, people can follow a leader because of how you say it to them. It's not about what you say, but how you say is hugely important. Then the last one, people follow a leader just because of who the personality of that person is. Who is that person? If you know, if the whole world recognizes this person as a leader in one area, and the person is how you call it, is already famous. He has 1 million followers on LinkedIn, or I don't know, Facebook, all this kind of stuff. Then that is something people follow. People follow the person because of who the person is, just the name of the person. Yeah. So we'll hold that thought for a moment, and I want to talk to you now about the big 4 L's of purposeful leadership. So L number 1 is listening. The leader has to listen to people. That is key strategy number 1. And I've put there, you don't only listen verbally, you listen to the non-verbal. Actually, statistics show that your non-verbal communication, body language, accounts for 60 to 80% of our communication. You have to listen to people's values. People have got values, and sometimes when somebody is talking about something, he's talking about it from his personal conviction. What is important to them? That's what value is. What is important to me is my value. And it's not, I don't expect it to be the same for everybody. So when you're talking to somebody's telling you something, if you are listening carefully, you will be able to tell their values, you know? So the leader listens. Now the leader learns. That's a big part. What do they learn? They have to learn about awareness of themselves as a leader. You know, if you are not aware that you're a leader, I'll give you an example. When you go into the yard, the pipe yard, and the people see you coming and they start to wear their hard hat and they start to put on their gloves, why are they doing that? It means that you are carrying power without knowing that you're carrying power, because what they're doing is that, oh, the big boss is coming, so now we need to adjust. So you need to be aware of that. And you have to handle it with care, because these are human beings. Emotions, you need to learn about, because before being the leader of people, you have your own emotions. And you have to be very careful about that, how you express it, because people are watching. Yeah. And then the big one there is that you are doing. You have to show the example. You are doing what you say people should do. It's not do as I say, not as I do. It's do as I do. That's usually important. Oh, I love this one now. The number 3L is leaves. It means that the leader should prepare themselves to leave that position. You cannot become a leader and stay there forever. No. Therefore, you're not a leader. If I'm a leader of anything, then I have to be preparing the next leader so that I can leave them to do what I'm doing, and then I go and do something else, something bigger. So a leader listens, learns, leaves, yeah, to the next level. And then this word here, legacy, the last one, this is hugely important. This is the most important if somebody is a purposeful leader. And I've said there, miss or no miss. What I mean is, when you're a leader, think about your legacy. That when you're going to leave that position, remember the last L, when I'm going to leave, are people going to miss me or they're not going to miss me? If you cannot answer that question, then you cannot be a leader, regardless of all what the intelligence and capability that one can have, being blessed, by God with intelligence in the head. But if you're a leader and when you leave the position and give the chair to somebody else, if the people don't miss you, then you are not leading them properly. You are not serving them. You are serving yourself. A good leader needs to be missed, in a sense that people should think that, if Daniel was here, we should have solved this problem, Yani. That is the feeling that you need to have as a leader. So legacy is very important. Legacy. You are a leader in the family. So you need the legacy. What are you going to leave behind when you leave that role? Yeah, it's hugely important. People don't have to miss you that you have left and they're not able to do something. They have to miss you that they have to be able to do something, because you have been teaching them, you have been handing over to them, preparing the leader. But they have to miss you, but from the heart, that the way we're connecting and working, it was so good and nice. The environment is good. Listen, people, we spend 8 hours a day at work. Some people spend 10, some people spend 12. So imagine if you spend 12 hours at work a day. That's 50% of the day. We don't need to be unhappy at work. We need to, our best creativity, our best ideas come by when we are happy. If we are not happy, then we are wasting 50% of our life doing something that we don't like. Okay. Right. Purposeful leadership. How do you score this? Urzgurat. I wanted to share this with you because I think it is close to your heart in Iraq. On the left, I've put the image of what they do in the West, because this is happening in this big sea and stuff, in the North, where you have what they call the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg, that we talk about, the tip of the iceberg is a lot smaller, and the part of the iceberg that's inside the water, the thick blue is the water, yeah? And the light blue is the sky. So what you see as the tip of the iceberg is just like 1/3 of what is below, or even less. So I've looked for the Iraqi equivalent of the iceberg so that we can understand this, yeah, from the heart. Ur-Ziggurat was built, I think, 2,000 something years before Christ. Yes. Now, research shows that Ur-Ziggurat has 90% of its total mass is inside below ground level as the foundation of that structure. 90%. So the other 10% is what we see in people, like behaviors, actions, culture, and results. But 90%, right, of what happens is leader, the leadership reinforcements of an organization, beliefs and value. It comes from the leader. So 90% of what will be the end results at the top depends on the leader. So I've put the PLR question is, what is the leader doing or not doing that is producing these results? So I remember when we used to, when I started with Shirmboh, when we used to go to the field and when we have problems in the field, what used to happen is that the people in the town, the technical engineer, the technical manager, they'll just tend to blame the engineer that is on the rig. So when he's always there, we have problem. What the leader should be doing is that, what have I done that is making Peter or Paul or Joe or Ahmed not to be successful in his job? Nobody leave their house to come and do a bad job. Nobody. We all leave our house with a good heart that we want to go and do a good job, be successful, and go home safely. So if something goes wrong on the rig, if I'm the leader, I'm going to put my hand up first. It's my fault. There is something that I've not done that has made this to happen. And when success comes, then I'll let the team take value of the success, but I'll know that as a leader, there is something that I'm enforcing. I am in that 90% space below the ground, pushing up, on the structure. That's what the leader does. Okay. So I've now put Ziggurat on the left, and then I try to build this up now from the bottom up. So what the leader is doing at the basement, the line that you see there is the ground. The leader is reinforcing something. And I'm going to make an example of this later on, yeah? The leader has to reinforce something that will be in line with the values of the company, the beliefs of the company, motivating the people to join. And then on the surface, what you're going to see is the behaviors and the action of the people. And then at the end, we'll have results. Okay? No matter what field you want to take, which section of our business you want to take, this applies. The leader is working hard on the ground. It's invisible. Yeah, the leader is invisible. He's doing things with his people, creating an environment, creating a culture, because the values is what's going to drive the culture. So I have a question there. If you are a leader right now, what are you fostering? What are you pushing to deliver performance through the people? You must have something that you're doing. If not, then don't be surprised by the results that you get back. Okay? Don't be surprised. And if you're doing the right things, the results are going to come back positively. Yeah? Okay, I've taken an example here, my favorite topic, safety leadership as an example. And I've tried to build the Ziggurat of the safety leadership. Let me give you an example there. Go down to the bottom, leadership reinforcement. If I'm a leader, I do not set expectation. I leave the guys to manage it. What will happen? You're going to create the next level. No one will say anything. Yeah, because no one has told them what to say. Everyone will tend to do the same. Okay, I'll give an example of that. At the bottom, if I don't set clear expectation that we shall not drive without seatbelt, for example, what will happen at the top? It will be that, because the leader didn't say it, so we can drive without a seatbelt. And because I sit here and I see Mahmoud doesn't have seatbelt, then I'm going to not have seatbelt also. And then what happens now? That's on the underground, yeah? Now you come on top surface, what's the behavior? People start to remove the PPE. People start to remove their gloves. People start to remove their belt, seat belt. And then what will happen? Next day, an accident happens, an incident happens because the person did not follow the rules. But it's not the fault of that person. You see what I'm saying now? I am the leader. I'm supposed to have set the example. I'm supposed to have set the expectation clearly at the bottom. When the incident happened, they would now tend to go and blame the guy who did it. But it's not his fault. You did not tell him. You did not set expectation. And nobody challenged him when he started to make the wrong behavior. And then the incident will happen. This applies to any leadership that you want to take. Whether you're a commercial engineer or whatever, if you're a leader, then you have to be reinforcing the right behavior so that you can deliver the right sales, so that you can deliver the right, technical engineering. If you have a bunch of engineers who are designing wells for you, or they are doing, preparing for a well kill and all of that, if you don't set the expectation down here, then don't be surprised that the well kicks when you go to kill the well, because people are not applying the things that were set and transmitted. Remember I said about people on the rig, and the first thing they do, they blame the person. Is that well site leader? When he's there, there's always a problem. No, something must have happened that has made that well site leader to deliver that. And as a leader, you should be asking yourself, what have you not done that has made this to happen? Or what have you done that has made this to happen? That is the place to be as a reflection. Okay. This is my second favorite quote. This is from Theodore Roosevelt, one of the American ex-presidents of the US. He said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. People don't care how much you know. So you can be a very intelligent engineer, you've done all the calculations and everything else, but people don't care about that until they know that you care about them. Then they'll start to listen to you. Yeah? Until they know that you are really somebody that you care as their leader about them. That's when they're going to start to come to you and believe you. So this other quote down here is not attributed, but it says that failures in leadership is invariably failures in character rather than competence. I could not agree more. Remember our background is engineering. We're not taught sociology. We're not taught psychology. And all of a sudden we're a leader. So we could be very, very competent, good in mathematics and physics, good to demonstrate that, Newton's law and all got the good stuff. But you put the person in a leadership position, the person is unable to succeed. Why? It has to do with character. It's not because they're not competent. If you put them as an engineer, they will beat and take anything to the moon. But when you put them to lead people, they are unable. So it is a character thing and not the competency of the background training that we receive. Yeah. So now let's focus on you. You that you're listening to me right now, your own journey. I'll put this on the table. When we want to go and do engineering, they will say, okay, we want to measure the IQ of this person, right? But leadership is measured in EQ instead, which is about emotional quotient. It's about emotional intelligence, because the IQ is about your intelligence to do engineering stuff, thinking stuff, solve problems. But to lead, you need your EQ. Okay. So the first thing that you need to do, you need to know yourself. And I've put there, what is not who. What does that mean? It means that since you have to know yourself, what you are is not who you are. I hope it makes sense. I'll explain. What you are an engineer. But who you are, you may not know. So you need to find out who you are, your emotional self. you know. So we'll go around and say, what is that guy doing? Ah, he's an accountant. After you give, you know, in English, they don't say, who is your name? They say, what is your name? But the name was given to you. But who you are is a lot deeper than what you are. Somebody can be a pilot, can be an engineer, can be a doctor, can be a lawyer. That's what they are. But that's not who they are. They are very, very different. So you need to know who you are. And then you have to lead who you are. What do I mean by that? That person that you will discover in you, with all the emotions and all the reactions, how do you behave in a situation that is stress? How do you behave in a situation that needs empathy when somebody is suffering? How do you behave? That is who you are. You need to learn how to manage that, because you need to manage, no, I don't say manage, you need to learn how to lead that person. And then now the next part is that you need to know the people, because we are all different. And for that, I've put the personality tools. There are a lot of personality tools in the market right now that you can download for free. At that third bullet point there, free personality tests. We have 16 different types of personalities in human beings. So if you want to be a leader, you need to know what kind of personality you have. And that's what defines who you are, your personality. What is the values? What is it that's important to you? So once you've known that, you now need to learn how to manage that. Remember, I said the leader learns. I think the second L, I said learn. So he listens, learns. It's second. Learn about himself. You need to learn about yourself, who you are, that person that is hidden inside you, who you are. And then now you need to know about other people using all these personality tools. And that only then can you lead who they are. If you don't know who they are, you cannot lead them. Remember what Mandela said, is that when you speak to them in their own language, then it goes to their heart. What is their language? Their language is it's in the space of who they are. You know, you are linking into who they are. That's where you are tapping as a leader. And remember this, because you are a leader and people are looking at you and following you, if you do one thing wrong, you should know that you are destroying your trust, because people are going to do your lowest standards will become their highest standards. If you go to the rig floor without a hard heart, what do you think the roster bar would do? You also think you have to go to the rig floor without a hard heart. So as a leader, you are leading people even when you are asleep, because remember, you have set expectation and you go to bed. They are working. They will keep on remembering what you said and how you do it. So even when you are left the job, you are no more there, their leader, you are still leading them. You are still leading them. So still on your own leadership journey, you as an individual, think about your values. Think about the values of the company. And then find a way between your values and the value. If the values of the company are really clear, you need to find and know what the values of the company you're working for is. Between your values and the values of the company, you want to align it. You want to align yourself. And then use the company values to make decisions. So when something happens, then you can say, this is the value that I was following. This is why I did this. So it's hugely important that you know what your values are. And then now you look at the company's value, you can align yourself. I said they're even more critical today to shift the mindset from manager to leader. Why am I saying that? Because now people are even working, how you call it, people are having go to quarantine, go to work, come back, go to quarantine. And now in the North Sea, you go and do a COVID test, you go to quarantine, you go and work offshore, come back, go to quarantine again before you go home. So a rotation that people were doing 2 weeks and going home, now they're doing 8 weeks total, or 6. So which means, therefore, that the managers are not seeing the people. They are not seeing the people. They are seeing the people less and less now because of the current situation in the world. And who knows? Maybe after we go through this, the working system is going to change because people have learned something. I can tell you right now, in London, companies are cutting down to half. They say, okay, now we don't even need this consultant to come to the office. So the space in the office now is becoming smaller, so people can work from home. So how do you influence somebody as their manager when you don't see them? Think about it. We have been used to going to the office and sitting in the office. The manager goes around when he's coming and talking to people. Because the manager is focusing on day-to-day processes and stuff and not looking at the leadership side, then now you don't see the person, you don't see him come to the office, you don't see her come to the office. How are you going to influence them? How are you going to lead them? So how are you going to manage them? Management is completely out of the window now. You need to develop different mindset, which is the mindset of the leader instead. And it is clear that once the leader sets expectation and set deadline for when things are supposed to be done, and they foster communication, i.e. they're communicating with people, and above all, ask for feedback, then they can lead. They don't need to be micromanaging and going around and checking everybody whether the person is doing whatever. I don't care whether you spend 10 hours on the desk. You don't need to spend 10 hours on the desk. What you need to know as somebody that is following a leader is what the leader say he wants. When does he want it? And so far as you are talking to the communicating with your follower and getting feedback from them, feedback for your own self also, then it doesn't matter anymore where the person is staying or sitting to do the job. You can sit in Iraq and give somebody a job in Syria, sit in Iraq and give somebody a job in Lebanon. You don't need to be behind them because they know exactly what the expectation of the leader is, and they know the deadline for delivery. So to be purposeful about your leadership style means that you go beyond situational leadership. What does that mean? Situational leadership is the place where the leader leads according to the situation. So the situation comes up. Okay, let's say a task comes up. You will look at, okay, who has the experience to do this? It's Ahmed. So Ahmed should go and do that because he's good at that. Okay, that's a situation. So you are solving the situation. So purposeful has to go beyond that. It has to be about you, the leader, your purpose. What is your purpose? So purposeful leadership needs what? It needs selflessness. It needs it needs to be genuine. The leader needs to be adaptable to situations for the team, not for himself. Remember, when the team does good, it's the team's victory. When the teams perform poorly, it's the leaders. I know there are leaders, people are in position of leadership, but they're not leaders because they take the credit when the team does, they did the well in 10 days. Then the leader starts to go up and say, hey, it's him. No, it's not him. It's the guys on the field that did the job. So, and that credit should go to the team and the blame should go to the leader. Remember what we said about reinforcing? What are you not reinforcing? Why did that happen? That's where the leader should be sitting. That's where the selflessness comes in. Is that you are not there to praise your own self. You're not there to put all the gallon on your shoulder, captain and whatnot, colonel and the rest. No, that's not what you're there for as a leader. So purposeful. let me see. Yeah. So I've talked about your leadership journey for you personally. So now, what are your purposeful leadership keys I want to share with you? These are the keys that you see that those things are in the black circle. That's what I would like you to cut out and hang on your wall and think about this. Look at the iceberg to the left, to the right. You see at the top of the iceberg is a social, and then it says business, and it says trust. So I'm going to walk through that. The first thing that you have to do, you have to build trust. Number one, you have to build trust with your people as a leader. Know your people. Not only knowing them socially, you have to know them from a trust point. Create space and time for one-on-one. No matter whether you're leading a team of 1 person, 2 people, 40, you have to create space and time. I remember when I was in Angola, we were 100 and something in the team, and we were so busy, and the wells were costing $100 million each. So there was a lot of stress in the team. And I remember somebody made a comment. He was just visiting from London. He said, "You guys are so busy down here that you can even forget some people in your team." And I took note of that. It was a good feedback. He said, "Listen, what you need to do, you need to start listening to the voice that is silent in the room." So you go to the meeting, the person that's not saying anything, if you are the leader of that group, ask them to tell you something. What are they thinking? Because the person that is sitting quiet doesn't mean that the person is not thinking. Doesn't mean that the person doesn't want to participate. It may just be their own character. You remember I said something about knowing the people? Once you know that Mohandes Ibrahim doesn't speak a lot, then you need to engage him as a leader. And then invite feedback. So we're going to talk about those three stuff around social, business, and trust. How do you have to build trust in the conversations? So the big thing about trust is that trust is the only bridge that connects one person to another. And it fosters a healthy working space. Trust is the only thing that if you walk into an organization and everybody's walking on the floor, the same floor, when there is no trust, you will know. You don't need anybody to come and tell you. When there's trust, you will also see it. Unfortunately, there's no way that organizations can build trust in the system. Trust is not something that you can really write it down and say, okay, fix it like this, tie it like that, and wire it, put the red cable to the red cable and the black cable to the black. No, trust cannot be that way. Trust takes time and energy to build. It just takes one split of a second for it to be all broken. Just think about somebody that you don't trust anymore. How did that come about? So as a leader, you need to go beyond how are you to ask the question, how do you feel today? People come into meetings, you don't even know how our people are feeling, and we just go on with the job, it's about the job. What about the human being? You need to demonstrate care, that I care to know about what this person is feeling. I'll give you guys an example. I'll never forget. When I was in Romania, I always use this. And people that have worked with me will know that I will not say, how are you all the time, but sometimes I'll just come and say, how are you feeling today? I'll give you an example. I went to the rig, the safety guy, oh, he said, oh, Mr. Daniel, oh, welcome. I say, yeah, welcome, yeah, Mohandes. I say, how are you? He said, oh, all good, everything good. Okay. So we go inside the cabin to do the safety induction, which is the first thing you come to the rig, you do. As he closed the door and put on the TV or the screen, I asked him, how are you feeling today? He said, oh, no, I'm feeling really bad, man. I said, really? What happened? He said, well, there was one guy on the rig who was driving the forklift, and he doesn't have the permit to drive the forklift. His name is not on the list of people that have to drive the forklift. And then, unfortunately, HAC was visiting the rig, and HAC stopped him just to check that show us your pass or your certificate that you have been trained to drive the forklift, and he did not have. So he is a safety rep. And then they call him. So now he needs to make a big report. And that's why he's feeling bad. You see, that's the same guy that outside the cabin, he told me when I said, how are you today? He said, oh, everything good. Kulutamam. I said, good. Now when I ask you, how are you feeling today? His shoulder dropped. You see, that's feeling. And that's who he is. Remember I talked about who the person is? Who we are is a lot stronger than what we are. He is a safety guy, and he's faced with a problem. So when this thing about say, how are you doing today? How are you? Cool shake tamam. But it's not cool shake, that's tamam. He had a problem, and that's how he's feeling at the moment. So just try it for yourself as a leader. people that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, just ask them one day, how are you feeling today? You're going to see they're going to take time to answer the question. But you say, how are you doing? Oh, great. You see? So you miss the connection. By asking this guy, how is he feeling today? I got the reconnection to him. I proved to him that I care about how he feels. And he told me exactly how he feels. Actually, his face just changed. When we're outside, he was a lot happier when he told me that everything is good. So that's one thing I want to leave with you as keys that you can use. Be very diligent with about your words. What does this mean? It's not about it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it when it comes to talking. You can criticize somebody without coming across as being aggressive. You can give somebody feedback in a way that will make them to think about what they've done. And that's what I mean, what I mean by be diligent about the words that you're using as a leader. How you say it, you know, is more important than what you're saying. Yeah. And then actually your actions also. You have to be very careful with your actions. What you do. Remember we said about standards. Your lowest standards will be the highest standard to your followers. You know, if you are a well site leader or a leader on a site, they say, okay, when everybody comes in the morning, nobody should go past the safety barrier around the rig with a ring. And you wear one ring, guess what the driller is going to do? He's going to wear two. And what are you going to do? How are you going to tell him not to wear two? You are wearing one, so it's okay. Remember what I said about reinforcing? What you reinforce is what you get at the top. So purposeful kills, right? You need to come to work with your true self, the who you are. No true self means no trust. I repeat, no true self at work will mean no trust. So you can never get to the bottom. Remember we said commitment in the other slide. I said commitment. You are not there to control and try to get compliance. You are there to try and get commitment. If you cannot get trust, then you cannot get commitment. People can only commit to working for you and with you when they trust you. Okay? So bring your true self to work. There are some people that don't bring empathy to work. It's all about the job, you know? And when they come to work, they forget that they're human beings themselves. And they also forget that the other person working for them is a human being. It's about the hammer, kang, all the time. No. So bring your own true self to work, awareness of yourself as a leader, your own vulnerabilities. What are your own weaknesses? What is your fear? You know, the thing that locks people up from trusting you is when they cannot know how vulnerable you are. What is your own vulnerability? What are you afraid of? What is your fear? What is the shameful thing that you would not like to have? Once people understand that, then they will start to follow you in a different way. What are your values? You know, humility is another point. You bring your whole self. You don't need to remove yourself or who you are and hang it in the house and only come to the job as a Mohandis. No, the Mohandis is what you are. It's not who you are. I want to challenge you. Think about a manager or a leader that you could not trust and ask yourself why you could not trust this person. And remember one thing, the same judgment that, how you call it, bars that you're using to judge the other person, your leader, to say, I cannot trust this guy, you know, it's the same thing that the other people are also going to use to judge you, whether they can trust you or not. And if you cannot build trust, then your relationship will stay at the surface. We're going to go and talk about that in the next slide. I want you to think about a manager you could not trust and why you could not trust him. Just take that as an exercise for yourself and write down the things why you could not trust this person and reflect on it. So know that people are also doing the same thing with you. And then now think about another leader, manager that you could work with him or her for even less money. And ask yourself, why was it like that? And then that way, you can play for yourself, what kind of leader do you want to be? And what kind of legacy you want to leave? So I have brought this now in the middle, the trust conversation. So imagine that the line is the line of the water there, where between business and this is, I'm using the iceberg now, okay? We're in the water. So this is all ice. From top here to the bottom, that's ice, and this is the water line. So in a job site, the top of the mountain is a social. So the first level of conversation with people is a hello, hi, no, you know, and then it becomes very mechanical. So the social part is about knowing people. Not knowing people like knowing them deeply. It's about knowing common interests. You know, we all support Chelsea, we all support Manchester United. I don't know, that kind of conversation. Yeah. And then friendliness. That is normal. There's nothing special to that. So it's about friends at that top. Yeah. Then you have business level. This is a level of effectiveness, just mutual respect. You have the same goal to achieve and the rest. Now, trust, you see, is the highest level, and that's what is buried. It's buried in there. So trust level is something that at the level of reciprocal expression of vulnerability, concerns. And now, because people are afraid, scared, oh, this guy is a big muhandis, they will not come and talk to you, they will not tell you stuff that is happening. So that's what it requires you, the leader, to make the first step. Don't expect them to do it. The leader has to go to build the trust. Remember, talk about building trust? And nothing stops us, nothing, from going from social to trust, this level here. Nothing, except our own fear and shame, which is our vulnerability. So we need to break the box of vulnerability and make the step as a leader to get to that place with people. So one last part that I want to leave with you, the key, that as you listen carefully, remember we said that the leader listens first. The leader, to listen, you need to be silent. And I will share with you this. Look at those two words, they have the same letters. Yeah, they all have the same letters and they're the opposite. I cannot listen if I'm talking. I cannot listen if I'm thinking. If somebody is saying something to you as a leader, you are thinking about something else, then you are not focusing. So remember the word vivid I've put there. When people come to you and you are listening carefully, listen to them and be thinking about this instead. One, venting. What does venting mean? It means that the people come to complain. You are their leader. So you need to be able to tell, oh, this guy just come to vent, he's just complaining, you know, or complain about all the conditions, which is okay. So you need to classify it in different boxes. People come to you venting. People come to you with ideas. Oh, I have this idea. We may need to run this tool before we run this one. Great. So let's think about it. What will happen if we run it? You see, people come to you for ideas. And then sometimes people have their own ideas, but they come to you, the leader, to validate, to check in with you, to throw it at you and see what you think about it. So some people come venting, some people come with ideas, and then some people come for ideas from you, and then some people come with their own ideas and they're looking for you to validate. Sorry, my battery is running low. I don't know why. What's going on here? Oh dear.
Yeah, check the power connection. Might
No, I got it.
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
So people come venting, people come with ideas, and then people come with, no, sorry, I keep repeating it the wrong way. People come venting. People come for your own ideas. And then people come with their ideas, depending on experience, no? So people who are younger with less experience, they will come to check ideas, which ideas you have. The people that have more experience will come with the ideas already, and they are wanting validation from you as a leader to feel confident to do the job. And then people just come for information that they don't have, they don't know. And then people come for direction, especially when they're just starting their career, they need direction. You need to deal with them differently. Say, okay, fine, you have to do like this, do like this, do like this. And you cannot treat everybody the same. And so on that note, I'm going to stop. Yeah. And how about we have some time for questions and answers?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Thank you for this presentation. It's great, actually, and highlighted many important things. So I will start the Q&A. I have a question for you, and actually, there are three questions, but I will start with one question and allow the other people to ask their questions. So,
sorry, can you guys see me? Is it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Is it dark? Because I need
no, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
No,
what challenge do you have as a leader, and how did you overcome it?
What challenges I have had?
Yeah, as a leader.
Mm.
And how did you overcome?
As a leader, you will always have challenges. Okay.
Yeah.
Number one. You have challenges starting with yourself. Okay. You remember when I talked about knowing yourself and trying to, what am I doing? Trying to know yourself. That's the first challenge. Can you guys see me or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Because I'm not seeing you guys. Hold on. There's share. No, stop sharing. Stop sharing. Okay. Halas. Mash. The first, as a leader, you have the challenge of, no, I'm dark now. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Take your time.
Okay. As a leader, the first challenge is yourself. You need to answer the question of why do I want to be a leader? In some organizations, people are just nominated. People are told that, okay, from now you're going to be the leader. So it's a bit different if you want to do it yourself. So the first challenge that I face is what I needed to answer the question of why do I want to be a leader myself? Why? And I can tell you why, if you want to know.
Yeah, sure.
I can tell you why. My personal statement about being a leader is that I want to invest my time and my life at work in human dignity. We go to work because we want to work and make money and feed our family, buy a little piece of land, how you call it, build a house, get married. That is dignifying. So the last thing that you want, or I want as a leader at work, is that people don't feel dignified. People have to feel dignified for what they do. So that is the first challenge. The first challenge is just answering yourself the question, why do you want to be a leader? And then the next challenge is people are different. Don't fool yourself. It's not everybody that's going to like what you do. And that's okay. Yeah. Some people may not have the skill. They don't have the will. They don't want to do it. And they will not like to see you doing it. So why are you doing it for? And I can tell you this right now. you have the challenge. The third challenge would be the people that you report to. Yeah. When you start to lead people, the people that are your bosses, as the world calls it, they begin to feel threatened because you are getting into the space of trust, because you are building more trust with the people more than them. That is a challenge. But I cannot change who I am. Remember, I talk about who, not what. Yeah. Who I am is that I want to invest in human dignity. People need to feel dignified for the work that they do and lead people. So if the person above you doesn't like what you do, it's a problem. It's a challenge. Some people may like it and they just say, okay, get ahead and do it because we cannot do what you do. So it's just okay. But if some people who are not able and they are bosses rather than being leaders, yeah, they just have the position because they were nominated to be there since 1994 before you came as a trainee and that kind of stuff. Then that's a challenge that you can face. And you want to know how I resolved the challenge?
Yeah.
Was that one of the questions? Okay. So how I resolve difficult people at the top?
Yeah. How you manage that?
Right. You go and find out what you need to profile them. You need to find out what kind of individual they are. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not share with you this. I did not show you guys this. You see this?
Yeah.
You see the blue? See the yellow? See the red? And you see the green. These things,
yeah,
I've been carrying them for the last 10 years. And it represents people. If the person is a red, then I adapt a different strategy to overcome them because I know who they are and what they want. If the person is a yellow, then I know how to get around with them. People who are in the call, who have worked with me in Ramallah, they know these colors. We did do inside profiling for everybody. You know, this is very, very important when I talked about knowing people. And if you remember, I think I did put in a link there to go to that link because it's free. This one is very expensive. You can, and to master leadership about people is that you need to know who they are, what interests them. And in that way, if you are giving them what they want, then they will give you the way. They will allow you to go and do the things that you really want to do, which is about leading your people. Have I answered the question?
Yeah, you have. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. For every. Okay, I will. Sorry. I will let other questions if there is any question from the audience. So if anyone have a question, you can use. You can use the raise hand feature so as I can unmute you to open the mic or unmute the mic. So please. Yeah, we have a lot of questions actually. So. Okay. We will start with the Arwa Rifai. Go ahead, Arwa.
Thank you. I would just say thank you to Mr. Daniel to share his expertise with us, and I appreciate your effort to bring to us today. And actually, I have it's a consultation more than to be a question for him. Do you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I'm a petroleum engineering student in my senior year. I'll be graduating after this month, basically on May. And for the last year, what we're doing, we've been assigned for the design project. And for that project, we are applying everything we've learned for the last 4 years. And the funny thing about that project, we've been designed to be a team leader for about 5 or 4 students for each group. And fortunately, I've been a team leader for my group. And I have a problem with one of my classmates, which is a female. And the problem is that I'm having a difficulty how to assign work for her. And I do not get always what I'm expecting. It's more than like we are going through discussions and conversations, you know, that like between women, and more than to get the expectations need at the end of each week, because we need to deliver um, uh, um, a result to our professor. So always she put me in like a really hard, always like I feel I'm in the corner, and at the end I should do her work instead if she's not doing it, because you know we need to deliver the result. And then I'm doing her work, and that really stressed me a lot because I have another things to do, not just this class. So I don't know how to deal with that situation. So if you have like an advice for me, and because I already reached out with my professor, and he told me that this is my challenge, I need to deal with it. This is your weakness, not her weakness, because you are doing her work, so that's good for her, because she does not want to do it. At the end, we will have this all a group, we will have the same grade. So
Marks.
yeah, and this grade will stuck with me forever, right? So it's not a salary, or it's a not paid work. It's something will be in my diploma
record,
forever. Yeah. So how can I like force this girl to do her work without put me like in pressure, or avoid those discussions, because you know I want to have like a smooth workflow, more than going to explain why she's not doing, why I have to force her to do that.
It feels to me like you need a full coaching to be able to pull that together. How long do you have?
We passed 3 months, and there is just 1.5 month left for us to finish our project and do our final presentation for our professor.
So what you need is coaching.
Actually, it's for school, it's for a grade, but my professor told me that I might encounter the same situation in real life in
in
the
work,
industry. So you need to develop, your
Yes.
skill. It's for your good. It's not for her good. She may lose her job, but you need. And he told me that he was very honest with me. We are not graduating students. We are graduating leaders in this industry, more than like having your diploma or your certificate at the end. And he told me that I did not choose you like randomly. I have like a criteria. So I think I missed something in your personality that you need to develop with a situation. He told me this is my opportunity to be actual leader.
Okay. So this is where you need situational leadership skills. Okay.
Yes, there's something missing in my skill, but I cannot touch it. I cannot figure out what is it, what I really need to do, like to make that girl or force her to do her job, because we are assigned for 50 wells, and I've decided the work we are 5 in my team, and I should do 10, but now I'm doing almost 20 or 25 wells by myself. While yeah,
what is she good at?
she's very organized person. She's very fluent because she's native. She's a U.S. Citizen, and yeah, but we were not very close of friends from the beginning of our journey.
Okay.
There's kind of like competition between us, and there's girls' jealousies.
Okay. So
yeah.
she's good. I hear you say she's good at organization. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is writing or speech, or what kind of organization is she good at?
Actually, for this work, sometimes I'm missing how to set up the meetings time and you know, the things on Teams and send sometimes Zoom links for. She was helping me with that, to be honest.
Okay,
to
good.
be just fair.
All right. So if I were you,
Mhm.
we can teach people skills, teach people training and all kinds of stuff, but we cannot teach people how you call it, will. That has to come from you. The person doesn't have the will to do it.
Mhm.
Okay, does she have the engineering skills that is you can use?
I think I don't want to be a judgy person because this is the first time we are working together, and I think most of our work on computers, I think she's missing that skill because she's afraid to doing things on computer. So what I did basically, her assigned wells, I assigned her 15 wells. I divided those 15 between us to double check at the end of the week if she's doing the right thing. And she was always missing like details or following the right direction.
Okay, so
and she was mad of that because she was telling me that do not trust my work. That's why you are sharing my wells with my classmates. I told her I have to do that because at the end we need to have a good grade for the design project. That's what I'm worried about.
yes. Well, you are doing the right thing, but what I would suggest is to look at what is it that she's really good at, right? Or what is it that she really likes to do? I call it now. That what is it that you need to look at what is it that she's really good at? What is it that she really wants to do? What is her contribution? What does she want to be her own contribution to the whole project? And then take that part from each well and give it to her. Let's say she says to you that, okay, I want to do the part that has to do with the tubing. Okay. And they say, okay, fine. So you will take care of all the tubings and then we will take care of all the other stuff. For example, if she's, because sometimes she may be overwhelmed by looking at the whole thing. Okay. Let's go and look for what is she good at and then give her that so that we don't stress her. Remember what I said about talking to people in the language, in their language. So her language may be that, okay, give me all the sizing of the tubing, or give me all the sizing of the casing, or whatever. Whatever is her strength is what we need to push. That's what I would do, because she has to give something to the team, and then the rest of the team do the other part of the work. Would that help? Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
I think Arwa is disconnected, I think. So it's okay. Let us take another question from Dia. Go ahead, Dia.
Good evening. Good evening, all. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I'm so happy and glad to have you here in our section, Muallim Daniel. Everything is going well. I'm so happy to see you.
Yes, I am happy too.
To see you again.
يعني قول لي.
كل شيء تمام؟ احنا
كل شيء تمام.
الحمد لله.
ماشي.
ماشي تمام. So just a quick question for you, Muallim. So the slide that we was talking about your leadership journey. So you highlighted a very important point, which is knowing ourselves. So it's important to know yourself so you can go ahead and build the trust and build the leadership. So do you think it is important to have a personal or inside discovery profile and make it mandatory in the company, private company like IWCF or Rumela Golden Rules? So this is all help all the workers to know themselves very well. I remember when I had that profile, I knew many negative points that I wasn't able to recognize by myself. And then I ask your help to guide me to fix them or work to make these negative to positive points. So do you think it's important or why the companies, they don't make it? that profile as like a mandatory or from or within their training sessions or training course, so that the workers can know themselves?
Back in, I think 1990, when I went to work, when I left university and I went to work for Schlumberger,
Mm-hmm.
in Schlumberger, the colors was mandatory.
Uh-huh.
It was all Schlumberger, whether it's wireline testing, drilling. Schlumberger used to have rigs at the time, and when you went to the rig, you had your hat and you had your two colors on the top. So when somebody just sees you, he kind of know your profile.
Good. Great. Mm-hmm.
And then knows how to adjust. And it became a bit very common with drilling companies because like rig companies, because on the rig, you have everybody rushed about, everybody, and people are sitting offshore. They are in a closed environment. So people need to know people.
Yes,
So
you're
it
right.
was. So few companies took it mandatory to do that. But that all fell through the cracks again. I don't know why in the middle of the 2000s. I don't know why, whether it's commercial reasons or what, or the cost, because it's not cheap, those things. That
Okay.
it's not cheap. I mean, one of those profiles, when I did for you guys, one of those profiles is about $300.
Okay.
And so we had to have a special deal through BP to get it for RU for free. And that is why I shared that other link, the link that I shared in my presentation. Is free. It's actually that, and it's based on the same kind of principle.
Okay.
And it's a lot more complete. So if people want to know themselves, then go to that 16 personality thing. It's based on Jung's, the psychology Jung. It's based on Jung's how you call it, personality profile thing, based, and it's also based on data. And if you take that test, I have not seen anybody that have taken the test, answer the questions honestly, and it has come back wrong. It's not possible. Except you don't answer it honestly. If you answer the questions on any profiling honestly, it would allow you to really, you say, how is this possible? It's me this thing is talking about. So so that's the first point.
Yeah,
it would be nice if everybody could do that. Then it would be very, very good. It would be very helpful. I totally believe.
Okay, so now I got you, Mr. Daniel. If you said there is like a free link, so why the company they don't make it if it is for free? I mean, there is an optional method or way so they can recognize the personality of the workers for free. So why
well,
in their plan?
I don't know. I don't know many companies that know this one that is for free.
Okay.
Many companies don't know about this one that is for free.
Okay.
I just discovered this one that is for free just 2 years ago, or 2019. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So you remember that statement that says, "Man allamani harfan malakani abdan." Shukran. Thank you so much.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leah. Also, we want to take the opportunity to thank Leah for suggested Mr. Daniel and facilitate this webinar. So thank you very much, Leah. We have another question from Abbas Muhi, I think. Abbas, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. I have a simple question. What is your favorite book for leadership, Mr. Daniel?
I've never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, I don't read many books about leadership.
So how is that? How like the experience we get from life, not from books? Yeah, I will. Please, Abbas, I will rephrase your question. So, how did you gain your leadership skills, Mr. Daniel? I think
Yeah, just like that.
the point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, which is why, for me is more about. I had a few courses. Yes, I had a few courses early on in BP. I had a few courses on leadership, but that was not the most important. The most important is that it was already in my heart as something that I want to do for my people. You know, from day one that I went to work, you know how Schlumberger operates. It's about, you know, very early they send you to the rig, you have a whole crew, and you know you're 25 years old, and they want you to lead the crew and the rest of it. So what made me to start thinking about is that, hold on a minute, I've got a technician working for me, I've got somebody, a driver, anybody that works for me. It's important that they know what we're doing. So I started to actually coach them in the space of performance. So when people know what is happening during the operation, it doesn't matter whether they've been to school, only primary school, it doesn't matter. It's usually important. And I can tell you there are many situations. I had this guy, Jabala in Algeria. Jabala did not even go to school. He didn't even know how to read and write. He was a driver, but he was a helper on the operation. But because we sit down and we talk about what is going to happen, because sometimes you as a main engineer, you can forget something. You are a human being like anybody else. Yeah. And I remember, I cannot count how many times Jabala helped me in Algeria. You know, because he understood the operation, he knows the different phases. If I did not tell him, he would not know, and he would not have helped me. So for me, it's all about applying the things, that the few things that I learned about leadership in the few training courses, in real life, put it that way. And when I attended the leadership courses, even within BP, in those early days, I noticed, because BP used to have what they call leadership mastery. You go 1 week and I'll go another week. So I noticed that there were a lot of leaders on the list, because they'll put which batch number 13, batch number 14, who are the people that attended. And then I asked myself, so all these guys have been through this course? Really? But the way I see them treating the people, you know, it's very different from what this course is teaching. So it's about applying what we learn. It doesn't matter if it's just small. And we are not about, in leadership, it's not about being the best. You don't need to be the best. You just need to have the desire, intention. Yeah, and Nia. Huh? Nia?
Yeah, Nia.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
This is the most important. The intention.
Yeah, thank
So
you
yeah,
very much.
I don't read me a lot of books on leadership, no, because I'm carrying leadership in my heart and in my heart and in my head. So I don't read any books. I just practice but what, and take the lessons that I'm gathering, and I can see how it is working. I can see it in the people that work for me. I can see them, how, you know, they're coming up, and that's my joy. That's what makes me happy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, but like when I'm reading books, I like to learn from others' mistake. So that's why I asked that question. So
I don't recall even reading one. All material that I have is what I've taken from training courses. I've never gone on, because there are so many books on leadership.
yeah, but like there is no specific one was like, which is like very, very helpful. There is like many situations you can face in real life. So what I really want is like a book that there is if there is something in like a mistake or something we can face in real life, so I can learn from.
Okay, now you're asking. Okay, I tell you what. While I was doing my certification as a coach, one of the professors shared a book on. Okay, I have not read it. He shared it electronically, so I have it as a PDF. Leading with emotional intelligence. You remember I talked about EQ, not IQ. Yeah, so that is what leadership that helps to emotional intelligence. So I've seen books like that. The leader in you. Well, I was lying. I think I have the leader in you somewhere. Yes, the leader in you. It's written by John Maxwell. Yes. That is the one and only one book that I bought on leadership around in 2006. I don't know how it was recommended to me, but yes, I have that. Something about the leader in you. I hate to say the wrong thing. It's about something about developing a leader in you or something like
Yeah,
that.
you
If you
can
certain,
you can send me the
if,
book name
yeah, you can do that.
by email
Yeah,
or WhatsApp, and I will pass it to Abbas.
yeah,
Yeah.
leader in you. Okay, I think that it was given to us at the BP first leadership course that I went through. Yes, it was very, very handy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Abbas, for your question, and thank you, Daniel, for your discussion. Let us call Mr. Abdul. Go ahead, please. He raised hand since 4 minutes or 3 minutes. Mr. Abdul, go ahead. You can unmute your mic, Mr. Abdul. Okay, I think Mr. Abdul not with us. Mr. Musa, you can unmute your mic and go ahead.
Yes, my voice is clear.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, let me
sorry,
use my.
sorry, I was trying to fix it.
Okay, Mr. Abdul, we will let you ask your questions right after Musa, please.
Okay, sorry, my
Thank
phone
you
was
very
freezing.
It's okay,
sorry about that.
It's okay.
No problem.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank you, the SPE chapter in Baghdad, for this chance, so we met the Mr. Daniel and get his experience and all his great advice. Okay, so my name is Musa Jafar. I'm studying at Petroleum Engineering, third stage. I always doing an expectation or possibility list of what is will be, what would happen if. Okay, so I always got that question. We talked about the leaders and how to be a leader.
Can you hold on a minute, please?
Yes.
I need.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, it's okay. I think there is something urgent. It's okay. It's happened. Always.
It's okay. Yes, always.
Okay, Musa, in which university you are pursue your bachelor degree now?
University of Technology.
University of Technology. Yeah. You're doing your study online now, right?
Yes, all right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mohandisin, Gulli.
It's okay. Go ahead.
No problem, sir.
You were saying we talk about.
Oh, I was talking about possibilities and expectation that I always put in a list or in my mind, that what would happen in the future. Okay, so we talked about leadership and how to be a leader, who is the good leader, how to be a good leader, and all the good things about leaderness. But if I was working in a crew, okay, and I am an engineer, petroleum engineer, working under a leadership of under someone, okay, so he was not a good leader. We we can't face that in the reality, right?
Yeah.
Bad leaders.
Okay, I don't
How-
understand. Is the question?
Yes. How we dealing with this?
Okay.
By-
What makes you think the person is a bad leader?
Maybe just from his unorganized, something like that.
Might
Maybe
be
not.
not
He
listening
don't
to
have
his team
not
members,
listening.
not
Yep.
empathize.
Yep, exactly. And maybe he don't have enough information. We ask him and he don't know the answers. Not for a big question. No, just for routine and something we all facing in our work.
And you are a petroleum engineer.
No, I'm studying petroleum engineer.
Okay,
right
and
now.
then you are in a crew doing work.
Yes, working in oil field or anything in company. And our leader is not, our manager is not good enough to lead us.
Okay, this is a real case, or you are just thinking hypothetically? What do you do?
Actually,
It's hypothesis.
hypothesis. Yes.
Okay, if it's hypothetically, all right. What I would do if the person must be good at something, yeah. I will tell you something. Actually, the leaders who do not have a lot of information to give me, or don't have expertise, huge expertise at the job that we are doing together.
Yes.
Under those leaders, I actually develop a lot. I took the space, if you see what I'm saying. You know, I've seen that my leader doesn't have the competency to do this thing. So what I do, I go and develop my own competency and present all the work to them to approve. I've had cases like that. You know, I'll give you an example. My first manager, he came from a mud engineering background. So and then we were in cementing services. Although the two services are very close because you use the mud to drill the well and after you use the cement to cement it, but it's not the same. And actually, he was not a mud engineer from the field. He was the mud engineer that developed from the lab. He used to do cement tests, but that's not the same like going and running the pump and pumping the cement in the well. So when I had those kind of cases, and I had that a manager that came from a lab. I also had a manager that came from purely from the rig side, but purely from mud engineering side. What you have to do as a young engineer in that kind of case is that you take advantage of that. Take advantage to now go and develop your technical expertise even more. You don't wait on the leader. You know, read on your own, gather information, and do stuff on your own. You know, you can actually, another thing is if you're working in a company, I don't know whether companies are doing that these days, but in those days, companies used to push everybody to have a mentor or a coach. So if your direct leader doesn't have the competency to help you, you can find somebody in the same organization that has that kind of expertise, and you make friendship with him for him to coach you. And I'll give you one tip right now. If you recognize when you are in a team, people interact, you have team meetings, and you know who knows the job more than who doesn't know. My advice would be, I will approach the person that has the skills that I need, and I'll be vulnerable to him. You remember what I talk about vulnerable? The leader needs to be vulnerable. You need to forget about fear and shame, because those are the two things that doesn't allow us to be vulnerable. People think that, oh no, I'm not good enough. If I say that, people are going to think that I'm stupid and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't really matter. If you have that leadership in your heart, you have to be vulnerable. Say, I don't know, you know? And a vulnerable leader is the one that's able to say, what are you asking me? I don't know. Remember what I said in the beginning?
Yes.
If you ask me a question that I don't know,
I will looking for it.
I'll look for the answer. I'll tell you I don't know. I'll go look for the answer. That's the way it works. So if I tell you what, I had a lot of many barrettes like this when I work under people that are not competent in what they have to do. Yes. The technique is to go and do the research yourself, find out, and then approach somebody that is more competent and ask them if they can coach you in doing something or lead you, you know. So I can be technically reporting to this person who's not as competent, but I have this senior engineer here that is a very good guy at doing stress analysis. He knows all the calculation by hand and by computer. So I approach him to gather the information and grow.
Okay,
Exactly.
thank you. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you
Daniel.
very
Thank
much,
you,
Mr.
Musa.
Daniel.
Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah,
very
no
much.
worries.
We can take the question of Mr. Abdul Zahra. Go ahead, Mr. Abdul Zahra.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
It's a nice opportunity to have you here, Mr. Daniel. And in fact, sorry because I have joined you lately, and we have missed a lot of, I would say, a nice and very golden words from a wise man like yourself, basically. Yeah. So well, I would say that it would be great if you keep sharing like such this meeting, of course, after the host permission. It would be great for the youth people, basically. Well, in fact, my name is Abdul Zahra. I am from Basra, working at the moment in Majnoon field as a CRO, control room operator. Well, I have it could be like I have a small questions, but it might take ages to be answered. To be honest, probably, yeah. Well, the question is how to be a successful leadership, and how to be a successful leader, and is boss, and well, those are my questions. I'm listening.
Okay, well, that's what we've just talked about.
Just this question and go through them just briefly, and because you had too much already explained time. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, so to be a successful leader, it starts with you. You have to have the will that I want to be a leader. Look at it this way. The world, you will never hear that this person is a world manager in this field, but you will always hear this person is a global leader in, I don't know, nuclear science. It's a global leader. What does a leader mean? The leader means is somebody that does not only have the vision where we want to go, but he also helps to pull other people with him. Pull other people, which is about developing the next person. So a successful leader is not successful when they leave and everything falls. That is not successful leadership. Successful leadership is leadership that develops other people. Successful leadership is leadership that listens, is emotionally aware that they are a leader, that what they do counts, what they say counts, and that how they say it is even counts more. Because we are not, the purpose of a leader is to connect people, is to connect, is to create connection. So if you want to be a successful leader, you have to take away your own self from the picture, you know, and not tend to micromanage the people that you are leading. I take an example. If you work for me, and instead of me giving you space, you remember what I said in the presentation, you need, as a leader, you need to give the people the space and your time. Let them go and do the work. When they have issues, you give them ideas, but you don't give them all the ideas. If you give them all the ideas, they're not going to think. If you were working for me right now, you bring a problem. As a leader, what I'll do is look at the problem, understand what the problem is, but instead of giving you the answer, I'll ask you questions. I'll ask you questions that will allow you to think about it yourself. And then you come up with some idea. Let me tell you something. every person that we meet, that we're working with, there is nobody that is stupid. We all have engineering degrees. We have done some studying. Although the engineering is not experienced, but what the engineering says is that you have learned how to learn quickly. Think about the work that you did before you get your degree. It's a lot of things, whether it's a master's or a doctorate, or it's a lot of things that you did. So what you have proven with a degree is that you have learned to learn quickly. And that's what the IQ is there for. But to move into a leadership, you need not the emotional side. You need the EQ. Okay? You look up emotional intelligence on Google by a guy called Daniel Coleman.
Daniel
Coleman. He is the grandfather and the guru of leading with emotional leadership, leading with emotional intelligence. Yes, look at Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Coleman.
Yeah.
He will give. He has everything about how to become a successful leader. And the leadership is not about you; it's about the people.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
thank you.
Daniela. Thank you very much, Mr. Abizar. I think we have took a lot of time, and I just have one last question. It's from my side.
You don't have a lot of time for me. I can talk till the morning about this stuff.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We appreciate your time.
Mercy.
We know you are super busy, but let's go to the final question. So my final question will be, how can you influence your team members to achieve the goals as a leader, as a team leader?
Okay, great. You know, this thing about team leader, when I joined the industry in 1990, after university, the word team leader did not exist. It was engineer, superintendent, supervisor, manager, and the rest. So the oil industry is just getting used to the word leader, team leader now.
Yeah.
And the issue is that we don't really get the grasp of what leadership in our industry should be. Because our industry is very slow to adopt new things. It's slow. You know? When do you think that we're ever going to have chain tongues that are all automatic? It takes time.
Yeah.
So your question is about sorry, I've lost my thought. Your question is about
how to influence team members or peoples in general.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The influence will come from the trust.
So make them trust.
If they trust you,
yeah,
that's the only space. As you remember, I said that trust is the bridge that connects people. If you cannot get the trust of the people, then you cannot influence them. And I'll give you an example. There's this story in America where there's a teaching instructor that comes to do inspection in a school.
Yeah.
And she asked the teacher a question. Do these children trust you? Or do they love you? And the teacher said, well, I'm not paid for them to love me. I'm paid to give them teaching and discipline. Good. So the inspector asked her, do you think that if they don't trust you, they can listen when you are teaching?
Of course not.
This person could not answer, actually. That's when that question made her to open her eyes. Oh my God, really? Yes, true. So you need to build trust. If you cannot build trust, you cannot influence. You cannot build trust, you cannot teach. You cannot build trust, then you will speak and it will go to the ears and not to the heart.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
I think I'm done, but Ghassan raised his hand, so I will give him the opportunity to talk. And please, Ghassan, talk briefly because we run out of time. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
10 o'clock in Baghdad.
Yeah,
now.
we have 2 hours meeting.
Hi,
this-
Danny. How are you doing? This is
How-
Gassan.
I am feeling good.
Really? It's good.
No, you're asking me how am I doing? I'm telling you I am feeling good. I'm feeling good to be in contact with you
I'm
guys.
Gassan, the Ruhr cover team lead. Just I have the quick question. Sorry, Danny.
Yes.
You spoke about the big 4 LS. The listening or the I focus on the leaves, right? Actually, I believe this is the good opportunity to improve ourselves by this point. When we leave from this position to another one, maybe the different responsibility and there is different level. My question to you: how we can to leave this is position if we are the under the government rules? As you know, we are the POC employment, right? Yeah, and we have a limitation and not easy to get. This is the position. For example, if we as we for example, if we are in this position, for example, I cannot to go to the another one, even we get the permission or they get the permission from the government. I mean,
I think that the key thing that you need to do if you want to leave, the leaving of that position is developing somebody. That's where I'll start. And then I start to make the case now that I want to leave. Because generally in the government job, what will happen is that when you say you want to leave to another position, you've seen the position, you like it. What they will do, they most likely, they're going to say that, oh, but if you leave now, who's going to do the job? We don't have anybody to do this position. No. To cut that conversation, you as a leader, you should be developing the next leader so that when that time comes, you can make a good proposal and say, okay, listen, I've seen this job. This is what I want to do now, right? As a leader. So, but I have already prepared Mahmoud, and Mahmoud is ready to take this job. That's one way that I will use. And I know it's hard. It's not easy. I know it's hard.
Yes, you're right.
That's how I'll do it. Because if you just say you want to leave, it's just going to be, oh, but there's nobody that is going to do the job now. It's not true. We are all replaceable. Nobody is indispensable in any organization. Nobody. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ghassan. Thank you very much, Danny. I think we have a lot of time and we have to we reached the end of our webinar today and we have to conclude our event. So thank you very much, Danny, for your time. I know you are super busy and as I mentioned earlier, and it was very informative presentations and we have learned a lot. So thank you very much and we hope to host you again, and I think I will contact you for an event in diversity and inclusion.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Inshallah. That's very important.
Yeah, as you as you informed me that you are the hero of diversity and inclusion. So you are yeah. So you have encouraged me to invite you for another event. So inshallah we will organize it or in the near future. So thank you very much and for being here today, and
thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Mashis. Okay. Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
Salam.